Okay. All right.
Angel.
Okie doke. We are on Kaf Lamed Chet, 138A, second line from the top. We were dealing with the fact, I'm just quick reviewing as we jump in, that the question came up about this hanging this utensil that was like a kind of strainer, okay? And Abaye's response to Rabbi Yosef, who said that it was that one would be required by hanging it to bring a cut. Rabbi, remember in the bottom of the last page says that seems to imply that if you simply hang a jug on a peg, one also would be mechayev, and then came back on the top of 138. Ela Amar Abai says Abai midrabananhi. That was a rabbinical prohibition, right? Shelo ya'aseh kederech shehu oseh b'chol. That he does not behave or carry it out in a way he normally does on weekdays.
Rabbi?
Yes.
The strainer by itself, don't you have to crush something in the strainer to get the juice out of it?
No, what they did is think of it as, say, a piece of cheesecloth on top of the utensil. So they would then put the grapes on top of the cheesecloth, and naturally whatever juice came out of the grapes would then go into that utensil. Okay, now ideally, okay, you're right, there should have been some weight on top of the grapes, okay? But the images, at least the pictures in the Koren Steinsaltz, showed it, basically the container with this flat piece of cloth on top. So I guess, the grapes would sort of ooze the juice out, okay, and just keep the sediment there, okay? And then it would collect inside the strainer and ultimately then could be released at the bottom of the strainer. Okay? So maybe that was the gravity, I don't know, could be the way that they, all right, could have done it. Ideally, it was supposed to be set up before Shabbat, okay? And so therefore, over time, okay? So Abaye then is taking, but a good question, Harvey, because Abaye then will use that to lead in, says, well, if that's the issue, what about the following examples? And he'll cite a number of brightot. Says, Mankit Abaye, so Abaye collected Humre Matnita, okay, some other principles, okay, of brightas with the following. Vritane, and it was taught, Ahagud. What about some sort of a stretching a wineskin or a leather bag, Bahamish merit, or another kind of strainer, Kila, or what about the canopy for a bed, Bekisei Galin, or what about which we would call almost like a camp chair, a folding chair, okay? Lo ya'aseh, does it, ve'imasan, if he does it, patur aval asur. He's exempt from bringing the korban chatas, but it's still forbidden. Ahalei keva lo ya'aseh. In other words, something that a permanent covering tent should not be done. Ve'imasa chayav chatat. And if he did it, okay, then he would be subject to bringing a chatat. Aval mita, okay, say you have a cot, would be an example, okay, as a bed. V'kisei tar sakal, or say you have a kind of folding leather chair. Va'asla, which was a kind of a folding stool. Mutar lintotan lechatchila. Those are, it's permitted to set them up, okay, to initially. Right? Now, we go on to a new piece from the Mishnah. Ve'em notnin letluya b'Shabbat. okay? And we can't put the wine, okay, through this contraption, suspended strainer on Shabbat. Now, it may be, coming back, Harvey, to your question, that they did not just put the grapes there, but that maybe they put the what came right out of the wine press that contained both sediment and liquid through it. And then that could be the example, right? Because why ibai laho? They asked the following question of the rabbis: Shomer mai? What if it does strain it? What's the situation? So that would give us the example, as I say, of a mixture of grape seed, sediment, liquid, things like that. Amar Rav Kahana, says Rav Kahana, Kahana shimer chayav chatat. If it does strain it through, he has to bring a chatas. Mat kifla Rav Sheshet. Rav Sheshet challenges this with the following statement: Mi'ika midi the Rabbanan mechayve chatat. Is there such a thing where there is a prohibition of the rabbis and it really requires a chatas, bringing a chatas? Rabbi Eliezer shari l'chadchila, and doesn't Rabbi Eliezer permit it initially? Okay, mat kifla Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef again challenges them. Okay, alama lo. Okay, and he says to him, why not? He says he's going to give him another example. Hare ir shel zahav, the Rabbi Meir. Okay, let's take, he says, an example of a piece of jewelry. Okay, I believe that's what it is. That was called a golden city, right? It was a kind of tiara, let's say, right? And so he says as follows, Shel Rabbi Meir, mechayev chatat. Rabbi Meir says women who wear those out in public, okay, are over on Shabbat. Rabbi Eliezer shari lechatchila, and Rabbi Eliezer gives permission initially. Maihi, what are we talking about here? Titania, because it was taught elsewhere in a Braita. Lo tetzei isha be'ir shel zahav, that a woman should not go out, okay, with this golden city. Okay, that's why I said I believe it's a kind of like tiara. Okay, ve'im yatsa chayevet chatat, and if she goes out, according to this Braita, she is obligated with a chatas. Divrei Rabbi Meir. According to the Braita, that's the view of Rabbi Meir. V'chachamim omrim, but the sages say, lo teitzei ve'im yatsa p'tura. But according to the sages, she should not go out wearing it. But if she does, she's exempt. Rabbi Eliezer omer yotza isha be'ir shel zahav l'chadchila. And Rabbi Eliezer gives women the permission to wear it at the very outset, right? Amar le Abai. So here we see there is a situation where a rabbinic prohibition, okay, could very well result in a chatas. Okay, Amar le Abai. So Abai then raises the following question, right? Mi svarat Rabbi Eliezer ad Rabbi Meir kada Amar chayavet chatat. Is it possible to say that you think Rabbi Eliezer is referring to the statement of Rabbi Meir that she requires a chatat? Ad Rabbanan kai ka'amre patur aval asur. No, Rabbi Eliezer was not challenging Rabbi Meir's statement. He was challenging the statement of the rabbis who said that she's exempt, but it is forbidden. Va'amar laho, and he would say to them, Ihu mutar lechatchila. And this is where he's saying that it is permitted from the very outset. Okay? So, now, commentaries want to raise some problems with this, but we won't go into it in detail, only to say that if that's the case, does that mean that Rabbi Eliezer is not aware of Rabbi Meir's view? Okay, so the Gemara, let's go on now. Okay, so here we do see, okay, that regarding, for example, this issue of bringing a chatat for the straining could be theoretically required, even if it's only a rabbinic prohibition. So mishum mai matrinam be. So on what basis? Okay, then do we warn him? Do we warn a person that that he may be committing an offense by putting this utensil up or putting something in it? Okay, Rava Amar Mishum Borer. Okay, Rava says it's possible that he would be guilty of the malacha of Borer, okay, of selecting, right? Rabbi Zera Amar Mishum Merakeh. And Rabbi Zera disagrees and says he would be over on the malacha of meraked, of sifting, okay? And that, right? Now, Amar Rava, says Rava, kivati didei. Rava says, okay, that according to my view, mistabra, that seems more logical. Madar kol shel borer. What is the essence? What is the rationale, the approach regarding a borer? Okay, namely, notel ochel umaniach psolet. One takes the food and leaves the leftovers, let's say, the garbage. Af hachanami. Here too, he says, in this example of the utensil for straining, notel et ha'ochel umaniach et psolet. Okay, he is extracting the juice, which is the food, and he leaves the sediment on the cloth. Right? Amar Rabbi Zera, kivati didi mistabra. Rabbi Zera disagrees and says, really, according to my view, it seems more logical. Madar kol shel meraked. What's the general issue in regards to the sifting? He says, psolet milamala va'ochel milamata. The garbage, so to speak, okay, refuse is on top and the food is on the bottom. Avhachanami. So here too, in this situation of the straining, psolet lamala, the sediment is left on top of the cloth, va'ochel milamata, and the food is below. Okay, so again, what they're arguing about is which av malacha. Okay, so Tani Rami Bar Yecheskel. Right. So now the Gemara does not give us a final answer on that situation, but it goes over to give us some additional other scenarios of an item, a piece of cloth, being put on something, and perhaps from these other situations, we could then learn back on our example of the strainer of the mishmeret. Tani Rami Bar Yecheskel. Rami Bar Yecheskel teaches the following example. Talit kfula. If you have let's call the talit here a cloak that's folded over. Lo ya'aseh, right? One should not do it. Ve'im asa, and if they've done it, patur aval asur. Okay, so in other words, if you take this cloak and you fold it in half, okay, does that mean that you're making some sort of a cover on it? Okay, It should not be done, and if it's done, one is exempt, but it's forbidden. Haya karucha leha chut o meshicha. Okay, however, he says, all right, if there was some sort of a thread, a rope, or a cord around it, right, mutar lintota lechatchila. It's permissible then to spread it out in that regard. Okay, right. By mine Rav Kahana mirav. And in another situation, Rav Kahana asked Rav the following: Kila, a canopy bed. Okay, you know, the canopy on a, right? Something that was, right? Mahu, what's the situation there? Amarle, he said to him, Af mita asura. So therefore he said, putting the canopy on the bed, okay, also, okay, is, it would seem to be forbidden, that the bed is forbidden. Mita mahu, the bed would be forbidden. Ask the question, Amarle af kila muteret, kila umita mahu. A canopy, okay, in that situation, for the bed, it would generally be permitted. We're talking about a canopy with a bed all together. Okay? Amar le, so he said to him, Kila asura umita muteret. The putting the canopy on the bed on Shabbat, of course, would be forbidden, but the bed itself is to be permitted. Okay? Velo kasha, and there's no problem here. Hadika amar af mita asura, and where he said that it was a bed that was prohibited, kidekarma anai. This was according to the Carmanians. Okay, Carmanians were a group that lived in part of the Persian Empire towards the north. Okay, a province there, and they had a certain kind of folding bed, okay, that was problematic. Hadika amar le afkila muteret. And the fact that he says that permitting the canopy, okay, right, and that is permitted, kidarami bar Yechezkel, is like the view of Rami bar Yechezkel. Kila asura umita muteret, but where we say the canopy is forbidden and the bed is permitted, kidadidan. He says that, however, okay, is like one of our kinds of beds. Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef the following: Chazina laho, the kile debe Rav Huna. He says, I once saw, says Rav Huna, the canopy beds in the house of Rav Huna. The meorta gidu, okay, that they stretched out at night, okay, umitzafra chavita ramya, okay, and in the morning they brought them down. Okay? Amar Rav, says Rav, mishum Rabbi Chia, vilon, okay, so Rav says in the name of Rabbi Chia. Another example, let's say we have a doorway and we use a curtain, okay, to open and close the doorway without a solid door. Okay, that's what the vilon is, right? Mutar lintoto, mutar leforko. It's permissible to hang it up and permissible to take it down. In other words, it's not on a, let's say, a rope or a board or a piece of metal that it would slide, but they have to hang it or not. Why is that? Says the Gemara, why would it be permitted? Basically because it's something that has no roof to it. Va'amar Shmuel, Mishum Rabbi Chia. And Shmuel says, in the name of Rabbi Chia, let's go on, a lot of Gemara here. Kilat chatanim, mutar lintota, umutar leforka. A canopy for a bridal bed. It's permitted to set it up and permitted to take it down. Okay? The implication, of course, was that this was for tzniut, all right? And that was why it was a different purpose, right? Amar Rav Sheshet, Bered the Rav Idi. Says Rav Sheshet, the son of Rav Idi. Okay? Lo Amran ela she'ein begaga tefach. When we talk about this kind of canopy bed, even for a chatan, even for a bridegroom, okay? What are we talking about? And Rashi has, by the way, if you're interested, a long comment here, okay? It depends on how this canopy is set up, okay? Lo amran ela she'ein begaga tefach. We're saying that the top of the canopy, okay, doesn't measure a handbreadth. Aval yesh begaga tefach asura. But if there's more than a measurement, okay, of a tefach from the, let's say, the poles or the post, okay, to the top of where the canopy peaks, okay, if there's more than a tefach, it's forbidden. So the Gemara says, and when we say that the peak, okay, of the roof is not a tefach, nami lo amran ela she'ein b'pachot mishlosha samuch legaga tefach. We say here too, okay, that it's not within 3 tfachim of the top. Okay, that's when it's forbidden. Aval yesh b'pachot mishlosha samuch legaga tefach asur. But if it's less than 3 handbreadths near the top, then, and it's still a tefach, okay, it would be forbidden. V'lo amran ela she'en b'shipu'ah. But we're saying here again a limitation that it only is applicable where there is some sort of a slope, okay? Right? Now, tefach. And that's what we're talking about. Aval yesh b'shipu'ah tefach. But if there's a slope of a tefach, shipue ahalim ke'ohalim damu. Okay? That the slope of tents is like the slope of tents. Okay? Similar to other slopes of tents. Velo amran ela delo nachit nipuria. Okay, and we don't say this unless it actually is such that it fits tightly over the and over the top of the bed. In other words, it hangs down on sides of the bed. Tefach, aval nichit mipuria, all right. Tefach asur, but if it hangs below the sides of the bed, okay, it whether it extends down 3 tefachim, okay, at least 1 tefach, it's forbidden. Now, what are we basically talking about? I'll give the following example to clarify. Think of a scout tent, right? The normal scout tent, right, is just got a slope, all right, and then hangs down on the sides, okay, all right? So now, let's say instead of a single cross beam where the tent would meet at a peak, okay, they would arrange it so that there were there was a square piece on top of the, like a canopy bed, okay? And they would have other cross beams. So the question would be, how, are there peaks between each of the cross beams? Right? And so that would be the difference between what kind of canopy would be acceptable and what not. And then the question is, does the sides come down below the sides of the bed as well? So therefore, that is the example that I think I can best present on this section. Okay. All right. Let's go on now. Va'amar Rav Sheshet. So Rav Sheshet says, Bered the Rav Idi, the son of Rav Idi. Hi, Siana. Okay. Let's say that there is a kind of hat, a felt hat, that's permitted. Okay. Think of some of the hats that we see yeshiva boys wear. Okay. That has a very wide brim. Right? Okay. So this is a part of the example, the best I could come up with, right? Vaha itmar, but wasn't it said, Siana asur, that this kind of wide brim hat, okay, was forbidden. Lo kasha. No, he says, not a problem. Ha de'it be teflach. Okay, in one case, the brim measures a tefach. Ha, okay, and the statement of Rav Sheshet is delit be tefach. Excuse me, where the hat does not have a brim of at least a tefach. Ella, rather, he says, me'ata sharbiv beglima. Okay? But rather, he says, let's take an example, okay, that he has some sort of a cape, or he's wearing some sort of a cloak, okay, and the cloak extends out, okay, over his body, okay, tefach. Hachanami de mechayev, here too, would that then make the person obligated to bring a chatas? Ela lo kasha, but there's no problem here. It says ha de mehadek, ha de lo mahadek. On the one hand, it's where the cloak is tightly fitted, okay, or the hat is tightly fitted on his head, and the other where it's not tightly fitted on his head, okay? The hat that's not tightly fitted is prohibited because if it's could easily blow off, then the concern would be that he would pick it up and carry it. Okay, let's go on. Shlach le Rami bar Yechezkel Rav Huna. Rami bar Yechezkel sent a message to Rav Huna. Emalan izi hanach mile ma'alaita. He asks him to send him some very meaningful words. That one you had said, okay, that you said in the name of Rav. Tarte b'Shabbat, two of them were in regards to laws about Shabbat, b'chada b'Torah, and one was a drasha, a message about Torah. Shalach le, and this is what he sent to him. Ha detanya gud b'kisna, mutar lintota b'Shabbat. Okay, so the first one, he says where it's talking about a bag with leather straps and stretching the bag, okay, it's permitted to stretch it on Shabbat. Okay, Amar Rav Lo shanu ela b'shnei b'nei adam. Here we were talking about a situation where it's done by two people. Aval b'adam echad asur. But being done by one person, it's forbidden. Implication being that it's going to take time for one person to stretch it and attach it. And that really is like making a canopy, making a covering, okay? But two people pull it quickly, put it down, no problem. Amar Abaye, and so Abaye then responds, okay? Vakila, but what about a canopy? Okay, particularly those perhaps for a bed. Afilu shnei b'nei adam asur. There, even with two people, it's forbidden. Efshar delo mim tacha turta. It's impossible for it not to be stretched at least somewhat. Ida. Okay, and what's the other statement? Okay, Maihi, what is it? The Tanya, as he taught, Kira shanishmata echat miyar koteha. If you have a small oven and one of the handles or legs of the oven has come off, mutar lataltala. Okay, it's permissible to be handled. Shtayim, if two of the handles or two of the legs have come off, it's forbidden, right? Rav Amar, afilu chad nami asur. And Rav says, even with one, it is forbidden, right? Gzeira shema yitaka. Why? Because it's forbidden lest the person try to fasten and repair it on Shabbat. Torah, the third example of the message. Da Amar Rav Atida Torah shetishtakach b'yismi Yisrael. That in the future, it's destined that the Jewish people may forget the Torah. Right? Shnei Amar, as it says in a pasuk, v'hifleh Hashem et makotecha. Okay, that the Lord will make the plagues wonderful, multiple. Now, hafla'ah zo eini yodea mahu. Okay, I don't know what this wonder or marvel is going to be in regards to this. Keshahomer, because when he says, Lachein hineni yosif lahafli et ha'am hazeh haflei v'pela. Okay, therefore, behold, I proceed to do wonderful work among this people, even wonderful work and wonders. The wisdom of wise men shall perish. Okay, is the rest of the pasuk. Have omer hafla'ah zo Torah. And here we say the wonder refers to Torah. Now, Tanu Rabbanan, a further brighter. Back to what we're just referring to. Keshenichnesu rabotenu lekerem b'Yavna, when the elders, the sages, the masters entered the vineyard at Yavna, right? Amru, they said, Atida Torah shetishtakach miYisrael. They said there is going to be a time in the future when the Torah will be forgotten, right? Shnei Amar, as found in the following pasuk, Hinei yamim ba'im ne'um Hashem Elokim, v'hishlachti ra'av ba'aretz. Lo ra'av v'lechem, v'lo tzama l'mayim, ki'im l'shmoa et divrei Hashem. Days will come, says Hashem, send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread or a thirst for water, okay, but for hearing the words of Hashem. And after that it's written, V'na'u mayim ad yam mitzafon v'ad mizrach yeshotetu levakesh et davar Hashem v'lo yimtza'u davar Hashem. So again, another pasuk following up, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north to the east, go to and fro, and they'll seek the word of Hashem, and they won't find it. Okay? Now, how did they interpret this pasuk? Right? Devar Hashem, the word of Hashem, zo halacha. They would be looking for law and they won't find it. Okay? Devar Hashem, ze haketz. And Devar Hashem also, the word of Hashem, is the ultimate time frame in the future. Okay? Devar Hashem, zo nevuah. Okay? The word of Hashem also refers to the idea of prophecy. Okay? Umai yeshotatu levakesh et Devar Hashem. And what does it mean when it says that they'll wander to find the word of Hashem? Amru atida isha shetitol kikar shel truma. Okay, in the future, a situation would come up that a woman is going to look, right, for with a loaf of bread, okay, of truma bread, v'tachzor b'batei knesiot u'b'batei midrashiot, and she'll search in synagogues and study halls, leida im tme'ahi, to know if it is tme'ah, okay, ve'im tohorahi, or if it's tohorah, ve'ein mevin im tohorahi ve'im tme'ahi, and no one will know if it's tohorah or tme'ah, behedjikativ be, but specifically it's written. In other words, the Torah should tell us, mikol ha'ochayel asher yelchel, from all the food, okay, that may be eaten, that would how you'll know whether it's clean or unclean. Okay, so the Gemara then rewords this a little bit. Ela leida im rishonahi ve'im shniyahi, but rather to know whether it's a first degree tuma or a second degree tuma, ve'ein mevin. Okay, and in that situation there will be no one who will know. Ha-nami matnidenhi. But don't we also have a Mishnah that teaches this? Keditznan, as taught elsewhere in the Mishnah, Hasheretz shenimtza b'tanur, hapatsha b'tocho shniyah. Okay, that's clearly if there's a dead, creeping object found in the oven, okay, that bread, okay, is considered second degree tumor, okay? Shahatanur tchila, okay? That the oven is initially, in other words, is first, mistafeka lahu, okay? But the Gemara then says, so what about question about the bread? They had a question. Hada amar le Rav Ada bar Ahava le Rabba. Similar to a question, a doubt, that Rav Ada bar Ahava asked Rava. L'chazyeh hai tenura, keman demale tuma, v'tahave pat rishona. Do we then need to consider the seed that this oven, okay, is as if it's completely full of tuma, and therefore render the bread first level degree of tuma? Amarle, he said to him, lo amrinan l'chazyeh hai tenura, keman demale tuma. We do not say that we regard and look at this oven as if it is full of tuma. The Tanya, why? Because a Braita teaches, Yechol yiyu kol hakelim mitama'im ba'avir klei cheres. Okay, that we might think that all the utensils become unclean because of the airspace inside of the earthen vessel, right? We call her, right? Talmud Lomar, therefore we have a pasuk that therefore tells us, Kol asher b'tocho yitma, v'kol ha'ochel asher ye'ochel. Okay? Whoever is in it will be unclean, all the food therein, which may be eaten. Ochlin tmeim ba'avir klei cheres. Okay, that the foodstuffs, okay, and drink as well, become ritually impure in the air of a earthenware vessel. Ve'ein kelim metamim ba'avir klei cheres. But utensils do not become unclean in the air of the earthenware vessel. Tanya, and we have another braita that teaches Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Omer says as follows: Chas v'shalom shetishtachach Torah miYisrael. God forbid, he said, that the Torah be forgotten among the Jewish people. She'amar, as it says elsewhere in another pasuk, Ki lo tishkach mipi zaro elama ani mikayem, that it should not be forgotten out of the mouths of their progeny. Okay? So then, Yeshotatu levakesha devar Hashem v'lo yimtzau. So what does it mean then? The part of the pasuk that said that they'll wander around to look for the word of Hashem, okay, and they won't find it. Shelo yimtzau, that they won't find halacha brura u'mishnah brura b'makom echad, that they really won't find a clear and undisputed halacha, or a clear, okay, a mishnah that gives an absolute, definite ruling that's intelligible and straightforward in any other place. Okay? And we're going to stop there, and I'm going to start trying to figure out, as I said, there's a long Gemara for tomorrow, but I'm going to start trying to figure out how we can plan for Tisha B'Av as well. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, everybody, take care.
Thank you very much.
Very well.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Rabbi. All be well.
Okay, take care.